The IPL is now exactly 1 week away, and that means that there's so much happening in the world of the Indian Premier League as India gears up for the 2024 edition of the Cash-Rich Franchise League. That, well, all of those happenings that are taking place, sometimes it can be a little tough keeping a track on every little thing, or unless you have all the time in the world or your job is literally to do that. But luckily for you guys, our job is to keep a track on everything that's happening and update all of you so that, well, you don't have to worry about the updates. So in this video, what we're going to do is discuss a few things that have been taking place IPL related, and of course break it down the way we do over here at Sports Today. So without further ado, let's get started, and let's start with a little bit of news that broke this morning. The Delhi Capitals have announced that Lungisani Ngidi, who you'd remember has been part of their squad for a couple of seasons now but didn't play a single game for them in the 2023 edition, has been replaced by Australia all-rounder Jake Fraser-McGurk. Now, the official reason, of course, is that Ngidi has been suffering with an injury recently and was not going to be fit for the IPL. But replacing him with FraserMcGurk, a very, very interesting choice, because they're not exactly a like-for-like replacement, are they? Ngidi is a pace bowler, Jake FraserMcGurk, a leg-spinning all-rounder. So very different player, but also gives them a bit more firepower at the top of the order, because FraserMcGurk is an opener, someone who's very hard-hitting, can bowl some useful leg spin. So who knows, definitely adds a different dimension to the DC side. But, and I would also say, very good replacement by all round. Now, how exactly they use him in the lineup remains to be seen, but definitely a very, very good signing by the Delhi Capitals. In more news, IPL related, as is the case in this video, Shardul has spoken about how excited and happy he is to be back with the Chennai Super Kings. Now, it's no secret, of course, that Shardul would definitely be happy he's back at CSK. Some of his best IPL years did come with that particular franchise, and he hasn't exactly had the best of times since he left the franchise. He joined the Delhi Capitals, then joined KKR. Neither year was very, very at his best, you can say. This time around, though, back at CSK, and he's hoping to make an impact. And one of the reasons he said he's happy being back is because at CSK, according to him, definitely they place a lot of emphasis on family and ensuring that the team feels like a family, and he's happy to be back in an environment where he believes he can thrive and where someone like an MS Dhoni would definitely help him thrive. Certainly would be very interesting to see how it is Shardul does, because as he mentions, last two IPL years probably weren't that great. But he's back at CSK, a place where he's had plenty of success. So, in theory, should be a good season. More CSK related news, and their bowling coach Dwayne Bravo, who of course back in his day was very specialized as a death bowler, has spoken about the amount of options that they have in the pace bowling department and also how much he wants them to continue improving their death bowling. So he said that, look, we have plenty of good depth and that's a great thing. He listed off all their options, then went on to say that I want the team to keep getting better at the depth because that's something we struggled in for the initial parts of last year. And he does make a good point. If you remember, first half of 2023, CSK's death bowling was very hit or miss, but it improved as things went around. And of course, as someone like a Matisha Paterana found some form, Tushar Deshpande became a man transformed in the death. He's saying, I want them to keep improving and keep getting better. Of course, probably no one better to learn for in that regard than a Dwayne Bravo. Whether or not they can improve, that's something that remains to be seen. But let's just say, I do believe that there is potential there for them to get better. More news, but this time different franchise. Kolkata Knight Riders, don't forget, have of course splashed out a lot of money to sign a Mitchell Starc, and Gautam Gambhir, the mentor, someone, a former captain, two-time title-winning captain, who's now returned to the side as a mentor, believes that Starc could very well be that X-factor bowler that KKR need in their lineup. He was speaking, of course, to media when he touched down in the city recently, and he said that, listen, for Starc, the price tag is not going to be an issue at all, won't add any pressure, saying the only thing he needs to do is perform the way he performs in an Australia jersey for the Knight Riders, and he will be the X factor. Of course, Starc, someone who hasn't played the IPL at this point in years, but whose reputation as a bowler across formats has always been consistently up there. Of course, this is going to be his first IPL season in years, and for the first time representing a franchise aside from RCB. I personally, as a KKR fan, hope he does well, but also let's see how exactly things go, because again, he's not playing in the IPL for a long time, and the IPL has changed greatly since the last time he was a part of it. Interesting more bit of news, of course, coming from the Delhi Capitals camp. We know that Rishabh Pant has been practicing hard in the nets. And of course, that is something that a lot of people were looking forward to. But based on the videos that we've seen so far, Rishabh Pant does not look like he's lost a step. And I know, you have to temper expectations because these are only training videos and they're going to be clipping out the parts where he hasn't looked as good. But put it this way, the places where he has been batting and what shots you're seeing from him, the approach you're seeing from him, it looks like the Rishabh Pant of old is not missing a step. And that's only something that's very good news, not just for DC, but even Indian cricket, because again, having an option like a Pant potentially back at a time when there's a World Cup coming up, well, I'd say you can do a lot less worse. And that's it from us in this edition, the first edition of many more editions of the IPL News Wrap over here at Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, if you enjoy our work, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon if you haven't already. Leave us a comment as well. Also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTech app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.